Season 7 of Game of Thrones is just about to kick off, but if you need a refresher of Season 6, then your good pals here at GameSpot of Thrones have got you covered.
But before we get into that, don't forget that for all your Ice and Fire needs, keep your three-eyed ravens peeled right here to GameSpot Universe. We have our weekly Game of Thrones discussion show, GameSpot of Thrones, every Monday, so subscribe to join our small council.
So here's what all of the big players in Game of Thrones were up to in Season 6 and where they are right now at the start of Season 7. It helps that a ton of them died at the end of Season 6, otherwise this video would be about an hour long.
Season 6 doesn't start out great for Cersei. Jaime brings the body of their daughter Myrcella back from Dorne, and Cersei tries to attend the funeral, only to be told that by order of the king, she has to remain in the Red Keep. Jaime proposes a show of force to try and remove the High Sparrow from power, but as Tommen has launched a new alliance between the Crown and the Faith, that doesn't really work, and Jaime is removed from his position in the Kingsguard. Tommen orders Jaime to take an army and reclaim Riverrun from Sansa's great-uncle the Blackfish. By threatening the Blackfish's nephew, Edmure Tully, he manages to end the siege with only one casualty. R.I.P. Blackfish. Crisis averted, Jaime and Bronn head to the Twins to scold Walder Frey for losing Riverrun in the first place. Cersei's only too happy for Jaime to go, confident that she's gonna win her trial by combat because the Undead Mountain is her champion, and let's face it, who would want to take him on? Unfortunately for her, the High Sparrow twists Tommen's arm, so he outlaws trial by combat, meaning that Cersei will instead be judged by 7 Septons for her crimes. And when the day of her trial eventually comes, Cersei leaves everybody hanging. With all her enemies in one place, she has Qyburn ignite a cache of wildfire that was stowed underneath the Great Sept, and everyone goes up in flames. And that guy got hit by a bell. Upon seeing the destruction, Tommen kills himself and Cersei gets crowned Queen of the Seven Kingdoms with Qyburn as her hand. So I guess everything worked out in her favor? Kind of? Jaime returns to King's Landing and the destruction that Cersei has caused. You'll remember that this is the very thing he killed the Mad King to prevent. Last we see of Jaime, he is bloody seething. Jon starts off the season at Castle Black. Dead. Not a strong start, I'll grant you, but he is revived by Miracle Max. Sorry, Melisandre. So it all works out in the end. He hangs the brothers who betrayed him. Yeah, screw you, Ollie. That was a good moment. And leaves command of the watch to Dolorous Edd. But just as he's prepping to GTFO from the wall, Sansa, Brienne, and Pod arrive after escaping from Ramsay's clutches. Ramsay sends Jon a strongly worded letter demanding Sansa's return, claiming that he has his brother Rickon as prisoner. Jon and his wildling army have no choice but to take on Ramsay, but they need some more support. They take a tour of the north to try and find an army, but many of the Stark bannermen fail to commit, apart from Lyanna Mormont. Absolute badass. The day of the Battle of the Bastards eventually comes, and on the fields outside of Winterfell, Ramsay releases his captive. Sadly though, Rickon doesn't know how to zig, or zag, and gets cut down on the battlefield. Ramsay has way more troops than Jon, and just as all looks lost, in an amazing look to the east moment, Littlefinger and Sansa arrive with the Knights of the Vale to win the day. Sansa exacts her revenge on Ramsay by feeding him to his hounds. Sir Davos discovers the remains of poor Princess Shireen Baratheon, who was sacrificed on Melisandre's orders. Jon banishes Mel and she starts to head south. Jon and Sansa vow to work together against their enemies, but in the Godswood outside of Winterfell, Littlefinger reveals his plans to Sansa, that he's going to take the Iron Throne with her at his side as his queen. The northern houses gather at Winterfell, give Jon a bit of a groveling apology, and proclaim that he is the new king in the north. After finally getting away from Ramsay, Theon returns home to the Iron Islands. It's not all happy families because Uncle Euron also comes home after years spent pillaging Essos. First thing he does is promptly murders his brother and current king Balon Greyjoy. This prompts a Kingsmoot to choose the next ruler. Yara is the first to stake a claim on the Salt Throne, but then old Uncle Euron rocks up and admits to killing Balon and claims that the Ironborn have been held back from their true potential. He wins the crown, but during his coronation, Yara and Theon take their loyal supporters and most of the Iron Fleet and sail to Essos to meet with Daenerys. Varys. That's a bit annoying for Euron, but at least he gets the remaining Ironborn to commence building 1,000 ships with which they can conquer Westeros. Over to Daenerys, who's been taken to Dosh Khaleen in Vaes Dothrak, a sacred place where the widows of Khals are supposed to live out their days. She's due to be tried because under Dothraki law, she should have gone straight there after Drogo died, instead of trying to take over the world. The Mother of Dragons ain't got no time for that and sets a bunch of the Khals on fire. She emerges unscathed and with a whole host of new followers in tow. But while she's missing, Tyrion and Varys try to keep a steady hand on the tiller in Meereen. The Sons of the Harpy are causing a lot of bother by burning all the ships, and Astapor and Yunkai reinstate their slave trades. Varys discovers that the slave masters from Astapor, Yunkai, and Volantis are collectively funding the Sons of the Harpy's rebellion. So Tyrion, Grey Worm, Missandei, and Varys bring the masters to Meereen to arrange terms to stop the slave trade. Tyrion negotiates that they have 7 years to phase out slavery and must stop associating with the Sons of the Harpy completely. Struggling to maintain control over the volatile city, Tyrion invites a Red Priestess, Kinvara, to begin spreading pro-Daenerys propaganda in the streets. Daenerys eventually returns to Meereen to find it besieged by slavers. The slave masters try to threaten her into surrender, but she sort of has 3 massive dragons, so that doesn't really pan out for them. Yara and Theon arrive in Meereen with 100 ships, which they offer to Dany in return for her support of Yara's claim to the Salt Throne. They come to an agreement, but just before they set sail, Dany breaks up with Daario Naharis and leaves him in charge of Meereen in her stead. Jorah reveals to her that he has grayscale, and he will kill himself before he turns into a stone man. Daenerys then commands him to go find a cure. Okay, I mean, bearing in mind he has betrayed her a bunch of times, and I'm not entirely sure that's how medicine works, but what do I know about love? Tyrion and Daenerys have a lovely bonding moment, and she makes him hand of the Queen. Then everybody finally sets sail for Westeros. Oh yeah, and Grey Worm and Missandei were there too. Following the alliance between the Faith and the Crown, Olenna decides that King's Landing might not be the best place for her to be, and returns to Highgarden, but not before delivering the burn of all burns on Cersei.
You've lost Cersei. It's the only joy I could find in all this misery.
It might have been badass at the time, but it kind of backfired when Cersei slaughters her entire family. Olenna travels to meet with Ellaria Sand, who, after having staged a coup against Prince Doran, is the new leader of Dorne. The two agree to join forces for vengeance and justice against the Lannisters. Slithering out from the shadows, Varys appears, offering fire and blood, aka an alliance with Daenerys. He then uses his jetpack to rejoin Dany's fleet, complete with the Tyrell ships. Sam and the fam are en route to OLDTOWN, where he can train as replacement maester for the Night's Watch. But Sam doesn't want Gilly and baby Sam to be alone while he trains, so he opts to take them to his family home of Horn Hill. Turns out Sam's dad is kind of a jerk who really hates wildlings, and tells Sam that he won't be inheriting House Tarly or their Valyrian steel sword Heartsbane. Even though the Tarlys do promise that Gilly and baby Sam can stay there while Sam trains, in the middle of the night Sam steals Heartsbane and takes his real family the hell out of Dodge. They make it to OLDTOWN, and we left Sam staring at all the magical books in the Citadel as he waits to meet the Archmaester. Arya started Season 6 training to become a faceless man, and as part of her training she poses as a blind beggar, only to get beaten up by the Heartless Waif. She returns to the House of Black and White and regains her sight, but is also given a mark, the actress Lady Crane. However, Arya develops feelings and refuses to kill Lady Crane. Unfortunately, the Waif witnesses this change of heart, and Jaqen allows the Waif to kill Arya. Critically wounded, Arya finds refuge with Lady Crane, who gives her Milk of the Poppy and a safe spot to rest. Well, I say safe. After a Terminator 2-esque chase sequence, Arya traps the Waif in a darkened room where she'd stashed Needle. Sadly, we don't get to see the bitch get her due, but Arya then takes the Waif's face to the Hall of Faces, where Jaqen tells her that the training is complete and that she's now truly no one. Arya, on the other hand, has other ideas. She renounces the House of Black and White and returns to Westeros to finally strike some names off her infamous kill list. First, she goes to the twins and disguises herself as a kitchen maid who serves Walder Frey a pie made from his 2 sons. She then reveals her identity in the most badass way possible before slitting his throat.
My name is Arya Stark. I want you to know that. The last thing you're ever going to see is a Stark smiling down at you as you die.
So Bran continues his tutelage under the Three-Eyed Raven, having fun little green-seeing trips into the past. He learns that the children of the forest created the White Walkers to prevent the First Men from destroying their sacred trees. Bran isn't supposed to green-see alone, but he's a nosy bugger and he does it anyway. He finds himself amidst an army of whites, and as he stood shocked at the sight, the Night King touches him on the arm, which creates a kind of bond between them. This means that the Night King knows where Bran is and can now cross the magic threshold which kept him out of the Three-Eyed Raven's cave. The Night King and his lackeys attack, killing several children of the forest, Bran's direwolf Summer, and the Three-Eyed Raven. Bran wargs into Hodor in the past and has him hold the door while he escapes with Meera. He breaks Hodor's mind, and honestly, I'm still not over this. Meera drags Bran away from the fight, but they're pursued by whites, and just as all looks lost, a mysterious figure clad in black comes to their rescue. It's Bran's presumed dead Uncle Benjen, who tells Bran that he must be the new Three-Eyed Raven. Benjen drops them off at a weirwood tree nearby, and Bran goes green-seeing once again to discover who Jon Snow's real parents are: Daenerys' brother Rhaegar Targaryen and Ned's sister Lyanna Stark. After saving Sansa and Theon from a Bolton raiding party, Brienne is sworn into Sansa's service. Her first job is to take Sansa to Castle Black to reunite her with Jon. As Sansa's sworn sword, she's almost tasked with killing Littlefinger, until he reveals that Sansa's great-uncle the Blackfish has retaken Riverrun from the Freys. Sansa sends Brienne to Riverrun to parley with the Blackfish, to recruit him for the upcoming battle against Ramsay. Brienne and Pod arrive at Riverrun, only to find it besieged by the Freys and the Lannisters. After an emotional conversation, okay, it was me getting emotional, not them, Jaime lets her parley with the Blackfish, who gives precisely zero shits about joining Jon's army. After failing their task, Brienne and Pod escape through a secret tunnel, and she waves goodbye to Jaime, knowing that the next time they see each other, they may be honor bound to fight. After being left for dead by Arya, the Hound is nursed back to health by Septon Ray, and lives a simple life in a peaceful village, right before all the villagers get slaughtered by rogue members of the Brotherhood Without Banners. Determined to get revenge, the Hound tracks the killers down, only to cross paths with Beric Dondarrion and Thoros of Myre. Thoros and Beric tell the Hound that the real threat is coming from beyond the wall, and recruit him into their ranks. As we leave them, they're traveling north.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to come join us again next Monday right here on the GameSpot Universe YouTube channel for GameSpot of Thrones. Get in that comments box below. Come find me on Twitter at LucyJamesGames and join in the conversation. Become part of our small council. We absolutely love hearing from you, and we are super excited for new Game of Thrones. We can't wait to make the show again. So we'll see you next week.